Knowing Unity Catalog inside and out is what separates mid-level engineers from leads. Today, I'll show you what UC is, why upgrading from Hive Metastore matters, and the exact features that will set you apart as a senior engineer. I've helped enterprise teams migrate millions of records from Hive into Unity Catalog, and in this video, I'm going to give you that same playbook. A Hive Metastore is like the card catalog of a library. Hive Metastore was one flat database per workspace, which was fine for some small setups, but entirely painful for collaboration and for enterprise environments. Unity Catalog changes that by letting you mirror the Medallion architecture directly in your governance model. Bronze for raw, silver for cleaned, and gold for your analytics. Here is an instance of what you might create in a Hive Metastore scenario. One flat list of tables, no hierarchy, no medallion. Now, here's how you would set up a schema and catalogs in your Unity catalog. As you see, you can now align governance with your medallion layers. Bronze for raw, silver for curated, and gold for analytics. The ROI takeaway here is that this structure alone saves hours of confusion and makes governance easier. You know exactly where your data lives in the lifecycle. One of the interview questions you might hear around this: explain the difference to me between Hive Metastore and Unity Catalog. How does UC align with the Medallion architecture? Now, for a practical exercise, create your bronze, silver, and gold catalogs in your Databricks free edition. Build one table in each, and then take that and compare it to Hive's flat default database. As a resource, take a look at the Fundamentals of Data Engineering by Joe Reis and Matt Housley. Hive could only grant schema or table level access, while Unity Catalog lets you govern at every medallion layer with row filters, masking, and centralized policies. You could even do that at the schema level if you want. Analysts can't touch bronze, so you set their grant something like this. Masking PII in gold might look like this. Now your analyst sees curated silver while gold private information is masked. The mistake that I see here is that teams secure only at the schema level. That's how you have privacy leaks happen. So make sure that you are masking those fields that need to be masked. Have you ever had a project that got delayed by access or compliance reviews? I know this happens everywhere. Your ROI takeaway here is that layered permissions mean that analysts stay productive, compliance stays happy, and fines are avoided. Your interview question is: how would you enforce data masking in Unity Catalog to comply with something like GDPR requirements? If you haven't done this before, be sure that you read up on GDPR requirements and know what they are. It's probably a question that you're going to be asked, especially if you're applying for a global company. Now, as a practical exercise here, mask the name column in a gold table. Test this with two different users, maybe your analyst user and your admin user, and see how the database reacts, see what gets returned, see what you can see and you can't see. As a resource, if you want to really get a deep dive on governance and compliance, check out Coursera's Data Governance and Compliance in Cloud Computing. The link's down in the comments. Your lineage is where Unity Catalog really shines. Hive had none. With Unity Catalog, lineage flows across the medallion stack automatically. From silver to gold, you might have code that looks like this. You have Unity Catalog UI, you have your lineage graph from bronze to silver to gold. Now, without Unity Catalog, debugging is kind of like being a detective with half the clues missing. With Unity Catalog, you see the full trail. The mistake that I see people make is that teams are still relying on tribal knowledge instead of the tracked lineage. Make sure that you are using something, even if it's not Unity Catalog, to track your lineage across your data ecosystem. If a schema change has ever broken your dashboards and it took you days to trace, Share your story below and know that jumping into Unity Catalog will help those types of situations. I've seen schema changes turn into Slack fire drills faster than free pizza disappears in the break room. Your ROI takeaway here is that automatic lineage prevents outages that can cost days of rework. Your interview question is, if a schema change breaks dashboards, how does Unity Catalog help to troubleshoot faster than Hive Metastore might have? Your practical exercise here, create a silver to gold transformation and then open the Unity Catalog Lineage UI to trace those dependencies. And as a resource, take a look at the data catalogs and governance with Google Cloud from Coursera course. Again, links down in the comments. Hive was workspace scoped. Unity Catalog spans workspaces and clouds, one namespace across Azure, AWS, and GCP. Even if you have multiple Databricks environments, those Unity Catalog databases and schemas and everything flow from one to the other, as long as your permissions are set correctly, so governance matters. In Free Edition, you could query something like this. Here I'm simulating across catalogs, but in enterprise accounts, this extends across the workspaces and clouds, just like I mentioned. The mistake that I see people make is that they're rolling out Unity Catalog only in dev and not in production. If your company is multi-cloud, are you governing consistently, or is every environment doing its own thing? Be honest down in the comments, and that will help me formulate some future videos. Your ROI takeaway for this piece is that unified governance avoids duplicate work, inconsistent policies, and security gaps. Your interview question here is, why does cross-workspace and multi-cloud governance matter? And how does Unity Catalog enable it? Again, this really is a big deal when it comes to governance policies and what you're enabling here with Unity Catalog. Your practical exercise, simulate queries across bronze and silver catalogs. Document how this might scale in an enterprise setting. Your resource here is a book called Designing Cloud Data Platforms. Take a look, links down in the comments. So, how do you move from Hive to UC without breaking things? Here's a playbook. 1. Start new projects in Unity Catalog. 2. Migrate sensitive datasets first. 3. Phase integrations. Don't be Big Bang. This is a marathon, not a sprint. So the mistakes I see people make is lifting Hive tables straight into Unity Catalog without remapping the permissions, which is so incredibly important. People also forget that dashboards are pointing at those Hive tables, which cause some silent breakages really quick. So pause for a second here and think about it. If you've ever checked your environment, would you still have Hive tables that are powering Power BI dashboards out there? If yes, then that's your migration red flag, and you need to go back to the drawing board and continue that marathon. All right, your ROI takeaway here. Phased migration reduces downtime and builds trust with your business users. Your interview question is, if you led a Hive to Unity Catalog migration, how would you minimize disruption to your business users? As your practical exercise here, copy a Hive table into bronze and update downstream queries to point to it. As a resource, I've got this Udemy course, Databricks Certified Data Engineer Associate. If you are practicing for this exam, this course is absolutely a must-have. So here's the bottom line. Knowing Unity Catalog inside and out is what separates mid-level engineers from leads. Unity Catalog mirrors your Medallion architecture. It enforces permissions at every layer, it tracks lineage automatically, and it scales across clouds and workspaces. Your career return on investment here is mastering Unity Catalog proves that you can manage governance and compliance at scale. The skills leadership really looks for when deciding who to trust with big projects. And if you want a quick companion guide with all the demos, interview questions, and exercise, grab the free one-pager. That link's down in the comments. If you are ready to jump into your Databricks journey, be sure to check out this playlist right now.